Day rub for Hahn at the early time of 11 o'clock. If you do not mind, a massive show coming your way. Mitch Cleary will join us shortly. Plenty of news knocking around as always. We chat to Blues assistant Travis Boak, working as a leadership position there as well. We've got a North Melbourne star. We're not sure who it is, but the Kangaroos have promised us someone after last night. Stevie J turns the knife. The good, the bad, the ugly. All your favourite segments. And there's only a couple of us in the studio. Nath Brown is an apology. He'll be doing his best work on the Sunday Footy Show. But as I look to my right, the man who has a kick named after him, the J Curve, Stevie J. Hello and welcome.
Hello, Dale. Great to be here. Feels like I just sort of got home from Marvel last night after watching a blockbuster and woke up and back down the highway to join you boys. So looking forward to the next hour.
I appreciate the fact you made it, and I always get concerned when you start a sentence with "it feels like I just got home." As I look across to the Wombat himself, the man who leads us in Kilda Mafia, close but not good enough yesterday, Lee Montagna. Lee, hello.
Hello, Daisy. Hello, Stevie. Yeah, we feel like the Brisbane Lions today. We're a bit short-handed, but we're missing a few of our troops, but we've got enough quality in here to get the job done. Of course, Nath Brown, looking forward to his mediocre segment as always, who he's got in the gun this week. Mitch Cleary can't be in here as well, but we'll get him on the line. But it's going to be enough fun. We've got enough here to get through. And as you said, Stevie, you did the game last night. You did the game last night as well. I did an extra hour on air afterwards, listening to the press conferences. Bit of a snore fest there. Brad Scott trying to work his way through it and plenty going on. But anyway, we'll get through the show and look forward to a big game this afternoon, Carlton-Melbourne, that we'll be calling, which I think that'll be an interesting one.
Well, we will be calling that. So we've got an hour of power here before we throw to the Port Adelaide West Coast game from the Adelaide Oval. Chris Dittmar, Brendan Yates, Taylor Walker on the specials, Tom Jonas and Rhett Biglands. And then, of course, as you touched on, we will be then after them with the big game from the G. But, Stevie, the game last night was absolutely pox. Shithousery, I think, is probably the best way you could describe it. But for all the loyal Triple M listeners, you decided that the Melbourne Comedy Festival is in town.
Was he at his best?
This game didn't deserve the level that he brought.
Really?
It just elevated this to a different level, and so much so that I said to Joey, the small man with the big heart, I said, can you go and just create some sort of montage, go back and find some of his best? He said, Daisy, I'm going to have to cut this down because the whole thing was brilliant. So have a listen to Stevie J and what he brought last night.
Well, it is the weird and wonderful at the minute. Was it Stevens who got into his move a bit early and ran off without the footy? Al Hawley could have wandered into the open goal, but he tripped over his own feet. Still somehow managed to get boot to ball, and then Parker with a diving headbutt stopped it from rolling in the bottom left corner.
Just parked the bus there. I had an opportunity just to work him off the football and not give him a run and jump, but it was undersized. I think it was young Arch.
For his second goal this quarter, nails it. North Melbourne continue to build their lead here in the third.
Who's Arch?
11-4-70, Essendon 5-12-42, Triple M Bunnies trade scoreboard.
Don't you know, little Archie Roberts.
Young Arch.
Red said there are 3 Archers out there, Steve.
None of them go by Arch.
Now it's on again. The call was dealt with by Caldwell, and the umpire says, just calm down.
He was pushed over easily, wasn't he?
Merritt goes backwards to Reed. He then kicks it to Parrish, who's got the ball in the centre square.
Is there a joke coming?
He lacked a bit of core
Merritt.
stability.
I knew there was something.
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
Well, that's just a sample of it. There was brilliance throughout.
There was a bit more
No,
than that.
there
Come
was
on.
pinks or red. That was one of my favourites, but it didn't stop there. This arguably was the best of the night.
I'm not sure what the number is tonight on the uncontested marks, but I think after quarter time, North Melbourne certainly had a bit of a plan to move the footy around. Here they go, Essendon. I'll wait till they stuff this one up.
Okay, won't be long. So they've got it to the corridor.
Okay, so as I
Best described as comedic timing, Stevie J. It was a delight having you alongside me last night to get us through that.
Sometimes you've got to entertain yourselves when
we were,
when the
don't
game.
worry. It was a bit of a comedy festival because we had to make it entertaining for the listeners because it was just turnover after turnover. And actually, Dale, you come with a bit of comedy yourself after I just warmed you up.
On the way in tonight, I heard what was Whitney Houston's favourite style. I can't back you.
Here's Kyle Langford, for those wondering. And he's missed.
What was Whitney Houston's favourite style of coordination? Hand-eye.
Oh, dear.
So that's the gold you get on Triple M.
It is one of those nights where you rock up to work and you go, thank Christ that I'm working for the M's, because we looked at every other box and there were serious faces. We're on the ground laughing, and then you're on the ground with a microphone and a suit on trying to talk seriously about it, and that's what we're rolling out. How did you survive it?
Oh, it was tough going. I feel for Jess Webster because she's all class. She's dominating at the moment, and she's putting up with you two peanuts behind her. Oh, that's a good effort.
She's done a really good job.
Yeah.
She's a great caller.
Listened to her. I thought she was outstanding.
Yeah, put her off a couple of times. She's mid-call. I'm going, gaga. Gaga. Which is brilliant. Stevie, do you want to get into what was a big Thursday night for the Sunday Rubbers? There was an announcement made by a former member of the Sunday Rub, and it was a glowing endorsement on a few of us.
Part of the family always, Jay-Z Clark.
Jay-Z Clark come up with his top 5.
Yes.
Most influential.
Hey, where did he come up with the top 5 from? Did he steal that? Did he steal that segment?
No, well, maybe he stole it from you, but he took it to another level. And he has come out with his most influential contributors to Triple M. And have we got the audio there, Big Leroy?
Now, Daisy's got a superpower. He can make anyone feel 10 foot tall and bulletproof. Joey's the rising star of Fox Footy. He's going to be running the show in a couple of years. He can special comments. He's the best analyst in the Caper. He can call as well. Joey will be all our boss in about 5 years. So he's on a rocket.
Not at 70, won't be.
And Stevie J is the funny man. He's the common man. Everyone loves him. So if you go to a Triple M party, now this is the table that you want to be on. So they're the three amigos.
Where's Brownie?
Brownie's more the dad of the group. You know, so there's the...
Not with what he's wearing tonight.
He's
ready to go out.
There's the cool kids. Yeah, 3's a party, 4's a crowd. Sorry, Brownie.
But you know, Stevie didn't talk for the first 7.5 minutes of last week.
No, I know, but you want him in the trenches with you, Stevie J. But not if he's carrying a knife, because then you're in trouble.
Oh, that's a cheap gag.
Well, funny that Jay-Z and Nate beef continues. So the top 3, JB and Chief, and then us as a collective at 3.
As a collective, we come as a trio, right?
So you got a couple of drive-bys. Nate disappointed you didn't speak.
Oh, no, I was happy with that, just to have my name dropped in there, because he did leave
Nath.
He left Nath out, and I reckon that there's a bit of history there, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Nath used to bully Jay.
Jay's got a long memory. Like any good journo, they got long memories.
This is how far this show's come, right? So it was Jay-Z and Nath, and Jay-Z be ready to host, and Nath would run from the Sunday Footy show to dead set to get into his chair, and as the opener would roll, for McDonald's and Remo Water, Triple A Rocks Your Footy, etc., etc. Joey, you walk in today and go, want to host?
That's how we do it.
We're growing as a group.
We are.
Your boy Jay-Z, though, there was, Damo was reporting, and the Saturday Rub Boys yesterday touched on it, a bit of beef between him and TikTok Tom Morris. Are you
apparently, there was a bit of a meeting at the AFL.
You worked with Jay
I've
last night.
spoken to Jay.
Yes, well, give us the exclusive.
No, I'm not giving any exclusive, but Jay, I have spoken to Jay. And in typical Triple M style, there might be a bit of mayo put on that story. Maybe not quite as accurate as what it was reported, but I don't think there's anything too much to it.
I reckon Jay-Z would be playing it down knowing full well you're coming on the radio this morning. What do you reckon, Dale?
I think that would have been the instruction, clear and firm.
I'm not getting any instructions.
And he also happened to leave BT out of the top 5. BT's a pretty influential figure. And he actually just made a comment on the Instagram post, and I was wondering whether
passive-aggressive.
Because Jay was just having a little bit of fun.
What was the passive-aggressive comment?
Some people can get a little bit sensitive.
No, BT. That was surely he's taken the mickey on Insta.
What did BT write?
Oh, he just wrote, "Well, this is interesting."
Flirting with danger, isn't it, for Jay-Z Clark to leave out BT of his top 5 on-air talent at Triple M? But again, because BT picks on Jay Clark, and maybe there was just a little bit of, get him back here.
Well, the Maasai Warrior himself, Mitch Cleary, he had the ego at JB And then you was on the rush hour doing your spot, and JB delivered it straight between the eyes and said, "Now be careful, mate. Remember where your bread is buttered."
Now,
and he threw me under the bus.
Who?
Mitch Cleary. Because when I wrote those initials down last week, I didn't write down JB.
Oh, you wrote BT. You wrote BT as well.
I think BT is just about the most influential radio caller on Triple M.
So you're saying JB's not?
Okay, well, that's interesting. Got yourself in a pickle there. Save him.
Hey, I had my little radar on. A couple of whispers came my way too this week. And the first one is at you, Stevie. Now, we know he's going great days, and you played some of his great audio. But is there an element that he's just continuing to get a little bit ahead of himself? Because, so you know how well social media now, especially at Triple M, it has gone gangbusters. What Jasper and all the boys, Ethan and Beersy and that do, it's gone off. We've got 130,000 followers, over 1 million views on everything by the week. It's dominating. But I heard a little whisper that someone named Steve Johnson demanded that one of the pinned clips on Instagram that has got the most views ever on Triple M Footy, he demanded that it got taken off the Instagram, the pinned clip. Is that true? Did you
I don't
demand?
think I demanded it, and I haven't checked if it's been unpinned or not. I said, Jasper, it's probably about time.
The people love it, though. And you demanded that it got taken off.
What was the clip?
Oh, just for those, here's a reminder of the clip that Stevie J's demanding be taken off Instagram.
And Scotty, how's Harry Mackay sort of handled the criticism that's been come his way during the week? Criticism.
I'm the Collingwood coach, not the Carlton coach.
If you go into the other rooms and find out for us, that'd be great.
I just seen Bossy walk past you, and I thought, can you just
Sorry,
I'm hiding. Daisy, I'm hiding.
We apologise. He's only new. He's only new, mate. He's doing the best he can.
Still makes me laugh a lot. What makes me laugh when you hear it again is that he thought we were laughing at the start of criticism because he couldn't say criticism, not knowing that he was talking to the Collingwood coach about a Carlton player. But so is it true?
Did you take it down, Jasper?
You've demanded.
Give us a wave. He took it down and just delivered me a strong latte. So he's going very well, our man.
He's on the payroll. This is Nath Brown.
Who do you think you are? Anyway, speaking of who do you think you are, our man over here, Daisy, who is airborne, let's be honest, but he might have taken a little ego hit last night, Friday night, because he was going down working for Channel 7 with Matty Richardson and all the crew. As they do post game, they go into the rooms. Now, a little whisper told me that as they're going into the rooms, the guard or the guy at the door saw Richo, said, "Yep, I know you. In you get." Daisy tried to follow him in. He got stopped and said, "Excuse me, sir, have you got your accreditation? Who are you?" In the Collingwood rooms, Daisy.
And I didn't have my accreditation, but I had my premiership medallion, so I went straight through. There you go. Good start from you, boys. This is the Triple M Sunday Rub for Han Ultra. Zero carb, great taste. How good? Drink responsibly. Up next, Mitch Cleary with all the news from McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy. And he joins us on the line. Mitch, hello and welcome to you. Before we get into your big three, did you survive the takedown from JB after you said that he had a large ego throughout the week?
Yeah, I've left the studios the rush hour style on Wednesday with a bruised ego, Daisy, so I need a bit of work to do to build that back up. But
when's that big article coming out, Mitch? The big one that you did with all the photos and all that sort of stuff. Is that out? That's out today?
It was out yesterday.
Yesterday, been well received?
Yeah,
it was
very
worth,
well received.
It was worth
glad
all the crap you copped?
You picked up on it. Joey, glad to see it's reached you.
Where did it come out? Sports Illustrated, FHM?
Just the age.
Okay.
So, you get down to your local newspaper outlet and find that.
All right. Well, it is time for your big three. Where do we start? Where are you starting at number 3?
Well, let's start with the Twilight Grand Final. It is no longer. They've stuck with the afternoon slot for the next 2 years. A lot of the noise, the narrative had been in the last few months that the AFL was working towards going twilight, but they've said, stuff that. We are sticking with the afternoon. The traditional fans get their way, and it feels like every year, Daisy, we go with this debate, but now they've locked it in for the next 2 years. It feels to me the AFL trying to create a bit of goodwill off the back of some poor scheduling to start the year, bit of noise around opening round. They've rushed this in ahead of what we thought was going to be a commission meeting around gather round to tick this off going forward, but they've gone in early, and the MCG 2:30 is here to stay.
So you're sort of implying the AFL didn't want to upset the fans any more than they're already upset because of opening round and rule changes and the bouncers gone and everything else they've done. You think there's an element of, we've made a lot of change or a lot of traditional elements of the game have gone, so let's actually just keep one tradition, even though the smart thing says to move it to a twilight and eventually a night grand final. Is there an element of just trying to appease some of those traditionalists?
I believe so, yeah. I think there's been so much negative noise around the AFL in the first month or so of the season, Joey. I'm with you. I think it makes so much sense to take it where they spend tens of millions of dollars a year growing the game in New South Wales and Queensland. You've got to try and grow the game and take the game to as many eyeballs as possible. Look, I'm more likely to watch the NRL Grand Final in a night or a twilight slot as just an average footy sports fan. You know, I think you've got to capture that market in those new areas they're trying to grow. So for me, it feels like a bit of a miss. But the AFL sticking with keeping those fans that want the 2:30. Look, I thought fans would watch it anyway, and they will. I thought it was a chance to capture that new audience, but they've gone with tradition. And
that's a bit of the irony, isn't it? They've bought in opening round to try and get some more eyeballs into the northern markets with stuffing around with the rest of the competition, and then an opportunity to move it where you will get more eyeballs in the northern states if a grand final is at night. They don't want to go down that path. That probably sums up the AFL at the moment.
You got a thought on it, Stevie?
They might watch it, but it doesn't mean that they'll then become fans of the sport.
You got more chance of becoming a fan if you've seen it.
I like the 2:30. So, maybe they're looking after, the 98% that follow the game.
What if there were more cashies for you if it was a twilight?
Maybe we move it to the night. That'd be a good day, wouldn't it?
Money talks, and the AFL certainly are on board with that. The other big talking point so far, and that comes out of the game last night, was a weird one with Tristan Xerri and Andy McGrath. For those who aren't up to speed, can you please bring them up?
Yeah, so really bizarre incident. Not something we would ever associate with Tristan Xerri. So has the blood nose, makes a big song and dance about it. Andy McGrath was sort of how it led to it. It was a bump that led to Xerri bleeding, and then Xerri appears to grab his nose and then wipe some blood or wipe his nose on Andy McGrath with his hand. Now, it's a throwback to 20-odd years ago, Nathan Buckley on Cameron Ling. That was 1 week at the time. That was nose on jumper. This is nose to hand, potentially to face. Yeah. I think he's facing 2 or 3 weeks. I'm expecting Michael Christian, the MRO, would send this straight to the tribunal under the serious misconduct charge later today, and then it's up to the tribunal to come to a resolution. But I'm not sure where you guys sit. Daisy, you were there last night. Joey, all three of you were there last night. But how did you see this playing out, Daisy? Do you think there was a bit more behind the scenes on how this eventuated?
Well, I think the defence will be shown from Xerri that once the bump had happened, the ball leaves 50, he was down. He actually runs up to the umpire and says, "I'm bleeding from the nose." And the umpire decided not to send him off through the blood rule. The play plays out, ball comes back in. He takes a mark, which would have been another chance for the umpire to intervene. Say, "You're bleeding, get off." That didn't happen. The goal plays out. After that, you still don't wipe blood on anyone. And I wouldn't be surprised, Mitch, if it's north of the time frame you've given. The AFL are pretty good now at making an example of some of these things. We haven't seen it for 25-odd years for good reason. It's a good opportunity to say, no, this doesn't happen at any level. And if you do, you're getting north of 4 weeks, 5 weeks, however that may look, as probably innocent and as, I guess, I don't think it was malice in what he was trying to do.
It was just a brain fade.
Trying to make a
they
point.
were coming up to him and saying,
you're
soft, you're soft.
I reckon they were into that cherry picking, because he stayed down, and then he cherry picked.
And then he's like, well, you know what? I've actually got a blood nose here. And
that's what it was.
That's the brain fade. But, geez, I don't think he will be getting over 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, it's a hard one to know. It's hard to actually sanction because it's so unique of a situation.
I think it's one of those. They come out and they say, all right, we're going to give you 2 weeks. Like, he's just about North Melbourne's most important player.
But that doesn't get factored in.
And you guys, let it be known, if this happens again, this is going to be a 5-weeker.
Yeah. Well, it's always hard. You can't give one guy 2 and then say if someone else does it,
but they have
5.
done that in the past.
He's going to get sanctioned, whatever it is, if it's 2 to 4 weeks. But he's he's lost his mind there for a moment. It's going to cost him, and it is a bad look for the game, Mitch. There's no doubt about that, and we don't want to see it, and we haven't seen it, thankfully, a lot. But yeah, it wasn't a good.
Are the umpires, Mitch, implicated at all for not sending someone off with the blood rule if he's being notified?
It's a good question. I think that they're well and truly duty bound, Daisy, to stop play and at the next convenient time to stop play and get him off because. Yeah,
I just don't know if the blood was actually flowing. I think that's part of it, isn't it? Like, you're allowed to sort of get a trainer to come across and wipe it off as long as it's not streaming.
Anyway, we wait and see. That will be the biggest talking point, no doubt, as the week continues. Arguably not, as I read over to your number one, Mitch.
Well, just sticking with that, so I'll do this in two parts. So Lance Collard, St Kilda player playing in the VFL back on Friday night, is under investigation for an alleged homophobic slur used in that game against Frankston. Now, if true, this is incredibly disappointing given he got a 6-week ban last year for using a homophobic slur on multiple occasions in one game. Now, he was meant to have, and the AFL ticks off on him going under pride in sport training to move on and learn from these things. And if it's happened again inside the space of 12 months, he's facing serious ramifications. And Stevie, to your point about increasing the severity of suspensions as time goes on. We've seen this initially get 3 weeks, then up to 5. Collard got 6. I think he'd be facing potentially double-digit weeks in the ban, weeks on the sidelines if he's found guilty on this occasion.
So, who made the report, Mitch? Was it the umpire, or did the player that was allegedly accused?
That is a very good question. I don't claim to know the answer to that, but. It's gone through the investigation inside, late yesterday afternoon, they've sort of launched this investigation and, it's now sitting with the AFL to work out what's next.
Yeah, it's really disappointing. There's no doubt about that for someone to have gone through all the education and training to cop the sanction the first time and then to do it again. It's, there's no excuse and no place for that. And he will cop a fair whack, you would absolutely expect.
And before we let you go, the Collingwood injury update, please. One of the more weird situations with Darcy Moore running around,
what was
limping,
going on there?
couldn't kick, and then all of a sudden he was fine, he was off, he was on. That was strange, Mitchell.
Yeah, very bizarre. So to take you back, Darcy Moore did 2 calf strains over the pre-season. Then he had a fitness test a couple of weeks ago to try and return to the Collingwood side. He had some hamstring awareness, and they said, no, he's not right to play. And then they had the bye. He was picked to play on Friday night, and we all saw the vision of how he looked sort of in pain throughout that game. Scans yesterday have come back with a confirmed hamstring strain and then also an inflamed bursa behind the knee for Darcy Moore, which I think Daisy speaks to that pain we saw him in trying to kick the footy down the rooms. But it's quite a bizarre situation. He's going to miss at least the next 3 to 4 weeks. Brisbane this week against up there at the Gabba for Easter Thursday is a big one, and then a couple more. It means that whole Collingwood back line is going to have to be rejigged now without their most important pillar.
Geez, it's strange, and we wait to see what happens with it because if they've left him on and he's got more weeks, I don't even know. I honestly, the state of football at the minute, there's so much weird stuff happening that I don't think we've seen for a hot minute that it's hard to get a grasp on. But as always, you have brought us up to speed, so we appreciate your time as always. Watch on for the day, Mitch.
Bit of footy feast heading down to the G. Oh. Then Andrew Dillon is speaking to try and explain this locking in the day grand final for the next 2 years.
Where are you sitting, Mitch? I seen you on Thursday night at Cardinia Park and all the really important
he was sitting with all the big wigs.
Have you seen anything?
Both clubs. I've seen, Brian Cook and Neil Baum, Tom Harley.
Oh.
Who else was there? Colin Carter. And
Steve Hocking was he around there?
Steve Hocking. Yeah. And Mitchie, a little bit of inserting himself, was in the photo with those guys as well.
Wow, right amongst it.
Stevie, I couldn't get the scoop on the grand final time slot, so I'm not speaking to the right people.
Were you happy enough with how your big photo shoot came out? Jasper's just run in and shown me a few photos. There's one that's got Abby Holmes in there getting a bit of a touch-up with some makeup, and you're in the background sculling water.
Yeah, just good to hydrate before a big game. Probably not my best angle. Could have tucked the shirt in a bit more as well, so I need to go back to the drawing board on that, I reckon.
Nah, you're a superstar. We thank you for your time. That is Mitch Cleary. You can catch him this afternoon on Channel 7 and Channel 7 News Nightly. That's where you say thanks. But anyway,
he was gone.
He's had enough of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily turning the knife, and we've got to get that changed, Jasper. I want a new stinger.
How much change are you demanding?
I know.
Well, you know.
The
brand's building.
So Jasper doesn't do anything to do with those either. He does social media.
I'm demanding it.
All right.
Anyway, your man with the laptop come out yesterday after Josh Tracy's performance. He was outstanding yesterday for Fremantle. Had the 12 marks, kicked 4 goals. 4 of those marks were contested, and Kingy come out and had this to say.
Bolton the sidestep. In towards Tracy! That might be his best one of the day. It might be the cleanest hands I've seen since Xerri. I honestly believe this guy is going next level now. We see Norton, Darcy, all these guys. We talk a lot about his hands are as good, if not better than the competition right now.
And the presence that's going with it.
The package,
yes.
I love Josh Tracy. That's a big call.
Big call, King.
But off the top of your head, though, who comes at the footy aggressively and clunks it as cleanly? Like he's clean.
You know, he's got a good point. He made the point pretty clear that he's going okay. I'm trying to think of who the best hands in the business.
Who'd you play with? Moons?
Harry Taylor had really good hands, and so did Tom Harley. But they were defenders. Obviously, it's a bit easier when you're playing in defence. But they hardly dropped a ball. I was thinking opposition players. McGovern was another one that used to float across in front of.
What about forward of the ball?
When
you're
coming out, I love watching Favola come out and take the ball.
Yeah, Fev could.
He wouldn't jump. He'd just run through it, arms straight out, and really attack the footy.
Rewalt didn't drop.
Rewalt has taken the most marks
ever
of all time, 2,944 off the top of my head. So
Anthony Rocker was always a good one to kick the ball at, like just because he'd go near him and he could put the arms out. Underrated, and this might get a few chuckles, but Levi Casbolt.
Yes, he did.
Mate, when he took it, and nearly just
didn't know where it was going to go when he had a shot.
No, that part. We're not talking about the most inaccurate kicks of all time.
Good on.
Anyway, it's a good discussion.
It is. Good call.
Boys, what do you think? What's the future look like for the Bombers? We were there last night. Realistically, I think that North Melbourne should win that game by 6 or 7 goals. I know Essendon had some scoring shots, but if North Melbourne could have been a little bit cleaner with the footy, there was opportunities galore, and then Essendon kicked back late and sort of make the scoreboard look respectable. James Hird come out during the week and said that Essendon fans are restless. So what's that mean? I know Brad Scotty's trying to build a platform for the future.
Yeah.
But at what point does it sort of tip over and, the win-loss record, is it important at all right at the moment? Are the fans going to turn?
Yeah, I think they already are, and I think they will continue to. They can't win 3 games of the year, and anyone think that was what they were planning to do this year.
Is there anyone that could do a better job than what he's doing right at the moment? Because their fundamental skills were horrendous.
So they're restless at the minute because last year was a draw the line through because of injury and all the reasons that we've spoken about at length. This year there was the selling of hope, and I say it a lot. It's the most dangerous thing in football because if you had a tapered expectation, just going, hey, we got players back, but if you actually go through our list, we're still don't have a very good one. We're still a bottom 5 side comfortably because we don't have enough high-end talent across the field and we don't have enough of these kids that are in the sweet spot just yet. They're going to get there once they get to 50, 60 games, and then maybe a little bit of an admission of guilt that we haven't recruited that well over this time. And they're all excuses.
Do they know where they're at? Because in 2024, Jay Clark did something where they beat Collingwood late in the season and were 4th on the ladder at round 17 in 2024 before they fell away in his finals. Then last year they were 6-4 before all the injuries hit. So can you say, when we're all fit and available, we are a bottom 5? We are a bottom 5 team. Do they think they were better than they were? All I know, Stevie, back to your point, is they are a long way off now, and because they still need more talent. They've got Tassie coming in, which is going to make it awfully hard. It's going to be hard to attract players from other clubs. It's free agency from that perspective. It's going to be. I think it's going to take a long time.
Yeah, I think it's easy on reflection now, but that decision to actually hold Zach Merritt to his contract was a big one, giving up the potential to get 3 first-round draft picks.
Everyone says 3 first-rounders. 2 of them were picks in the 20s, and one that they got. They got the extra pick.
I have it on pretty good authority, Joey, that after the game last night, Zach Merritt was an absolute shell of himself.
Really?
In fact, didn't take his playing gear off for a long, long time. Even players that had left the ground Zach Merritt was still sitting there in his playing uniform.
Oh.
And was absolutely filthy.
Well, he only had the 10 possessions, his lowest for 8 years. But
I just wonder whether part of that is, I've had a poor game and self-reflecting, and then the other part of it would be, did he think he received enough support from his teammates when he was getting the hard tag?
And do you think then he would be an element of resenting the club as well a bit for not letting him go?
Well,
I don't think that's how he operates. He'd be filthy with himself. I reckon that's sort of the space that he lives in.
Yeah, well.
So back to the point. So do you think that Essendon are over inflating their own opinion of themselves and where they're at? Or because, like I've said, I don't think they've got a top 5 list.
No, I'm not sure that they
knew
where they're at. That's now we clearly know they're in a rebuild. And their senior players, I mean, there was some people last year saying that they could win a final this year, or there was an expectation they could be pushing for finals. Now we just see that they're way off it. The more concern for me is, yes, they've got some young talent that they'll need to keep playing, but their senior players have just lost all confidence.
We've got a little clip from what Brad Scott said after the game last night.
Essendon's been around for over 150 years through some really difficult times. We're going through a difficult time at the moment, but we'll be fine. We've got a strategy. It's really clear. We know what we're doing. Medium to long term is something that we're really excited about. And the decisions we made to look to the medium to long term, we accepted that there was short-term vulnerability and there might be some short-term pain, but we're willing to endure that.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit familiar. I think you might have said that a few years ago.
Is this the time, though, Stevie? So this is where you just come out and you be completely honest, whether it's Brad Scott or it's Andrew Welsh at the top of the footy club, go back to sort of what Brendan Gale did at the Tigs and was laughed out of a couple of studios when he said, we've got a plan that looks like this, and by the year 2022, we expect to have won or at least competed in 2 or 3 premierships.
Yeah.
And if you come out and said that to Bombers fans, do you at least go, right, that is the path? Because when
they're going to have to be patient.
When you talk about the medium to long term as a fan, you're sitting there going, I've heard it before. I want to know what this looks like so we can actually hold this club accountable. Do they owe that to the fans?
No, not really. They're just words anyway. You can everyone can say a plan. Doesn't mean you've got to be able to execute it. That's all that matters. The hard part for me with Essendon supporters is they're going to have to go through this again, but with Tasmania coming in where you're not getting access to the best young kids, everything's going to be a lot tougher to be able to build a list to be a top 4, top 6 team, whenever that is. So they've got their work cut out, but unfortunately, Bombers fans just have to hang in there, Stevie.
Well, yes, on a lighter note, something that caught my attention during the week, which I thought was quite funny, was former Suns chairman Tony Cochrane said during the week that the Moaners would be a more appropriate name for the Saints because you just moan about everything, Joey, and it's never your fault. We didn't get the
peace and moan.
Yeah.
And so that's Tony Cochrane, pretty well-known, big figure up there on the Gold Coast.
And in football.
Let's have a listen to the response from Ross Lyon.
I don't know, have you seen the Tony Cochrane comments from...
No, I don't even know who Tony Cochrane is. Who's Tony Cochrane? No, seriously.
Former CEO of the Suns.
Who is it?
Former CEO of the Suns.
Oh, is it? Former?
Yeah.
Oh, so he's not in the game anymore. Is he in the game? Oh, he's a supporter.
He's still got an opinion on the game.
He's a supporter.
Is he in the game?
He's a supporter. He's the best, Ross.
Oh, that was brilliant.
And then went on to say,
I actually lauged out loud.
Well, last time I checked, I don't take advice from supporters.
He's the best. He just, he 100% knows full well who Tony Cochrane is, but I enjoyed that from Ross, the boss. So that has been another edition of Stevie G Turns the Night.
His own stingers. Our man is white hot and flying. This is the Sunday Rub. Farhan